How often do you stop and ask yourself whether the life you're living feels complete? We spend so much time chasing goals and meeting expectations that it's easy to lose sight of whether those achievements truly bring us a sense of fulfillment. And even when we reach the milestones we set for ourselves, there's often a quiet feeling, deep inside, that something is missing. This sense of incompleteness, a subtle, persistent longing, often points to parts of ourselves that remain unexplored. It suggests that perhaps our true purpose lies not in external accomplishments, but in something deeper and more personal. We're conditioned to believe that meaning and purpose are found in the external world, in career success, recognition, or achieving goals that society values. But what if the path to fulfillment is entirely different? According to Carl Jung, the answers we seek don't lie outside us. They're hidden within. More specifically, they reside in the parts of ourselves we often avoid, the fears, desires, and traits we suppress or deny. Jung's ideas challenge us to shift our perspective and explore the corners of our psyche where our deepest truths reside. This is where Jung's concept of the shadow becomes crucial. The shadow represents all the aspects of ourselves that we choose not to see. The traits, impulses, and vulnerabilities we repress because they feel uncomfortable or unacceptable. Yet, these hidden parts of us have a profound impact on how we live our lives and search for meaning. They shape our decisions, relationships, and goals in ways we might not realize. By acknowledging and integrating the shadow, we unlock the potential to live a more authentic and purposeful life. When we think about purpose, we often equate it with visible success or grand aspirations, but Jung's work reminds us that our purpose is rarely tied to what we achieve on the surface. Instead, it's deeply connected to what lies beneath, the unresolved aspects of our inner world. The shadow holds not only our fears, but also untapped potential, traits and desires that, when understood, can guide us toward a more meaningful life. Exploring the shadow helps us see that what we once feared or ignored can become a source of insight and strength. Think of the shadow as a backpack you carry everywhere. Inside, there are fears, traumas, and desires you've tried to forget, but their weight influences every step you take. The more we ignore what's inside, the heavier the load feels. But when we choose to open the backpack, to examine its contents with curiosity and compassion, we lighten our burden and gain a clearer understanding of ourselves. What once seemed like an obstacle becomes an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. By facing the shadow, we begin to redefine what purpose means. It stops being about meeting external expectations or chasing ideals that aren't truly ours. Instead, it becomes a process of aligning with what feels genuine and meaningful from within. When we accept the darker, hidden parts of ourselves, they transform into a guiding force, helping us navigate life in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling. In doing so, we connect with a purpose that resonates deeply with who we are at our core. The search for purpose often begins with questioning whether the path we're on is truly our own, or one shaped by external pressures. In a world where success is often measured by visible accomplishments, it's easy to align our goals with societal expectations rather than personal truth. This dynamic creates a disconnect, a tension between what we feel and what we pursue. Jung's teachings encourage us to break away from this pattern and look inward, beyond the surface, to uncover a purpose rooted in our deeper essence. One of the most liberating insights Jung offers is that purpose doesn't have to conform to what others perceive as success. It's not about achieving external validation or meeting predefined ideals. Instead, purpose emerges when we explore the layers of our being that often go unnoticed. These layers, found within the shadow, reveal truths about who we are and what truly matters to us. By stepping beyond ego-driven desires and into self-reflection, we connect with a purpose that feels genuine and enduring. The shadow serves as a gateway to this deeper sense of meaning. It holds the aspects of ourselves we hide, the fears, doubts, and even desires we've been taught to suppress. By bringing these elements to light, we free ourselves from the prison of external expectations and begin living in alignment with who we truly are. This journey inward is not without its challenges. It requires courage to confront the parts of ourselves we've long avoided. Yet, it's in this confrontation that we discover a sense of purpose that doesn't depend on applause or recognition, but resonates with our core. Most of us avoid the shadow because it feels uncomfortable to face our flaws and contradictions. We might believe that acknowledging these parts will diminish us, but the opposite is true. By accepting our imperfections, we access an essential part of our humanity, a fullness that allows us to embrace life with authenticity. Jung reminds us that integration, not denial, is the key to unlocking our potential. When we stop hiding from the shadow, we discover it contains not only lessons but also strengths we didn't realize we had. Imagine the shadow as a puzzle where every piece represents a part of you. Some pieces are bright and polished, reflecting your strengths and achievements. Others are dark and complex, representing your struggles and fears. It's only by assembling the entire puzzle that you can see the full picture of who you are. Without the darker pieces, the image remains incomplete. The same is true for purpose. It gains depth and authenticity when it includes all aspects of yourself, not just the ones you feel comfortable showing. Accepting the shadow is ultimately an act of self-love. It means recognizing that our flaws, vulnerabilities, and repressed traits are as much a part of us as our talents and virtues. This acceptance doesn't weaken us. It strengthens our ability to live with integrity when we embrace the entirety of who we are. We begin to live a life that feels true, not only to ourselves, but also to the values that matter most. Purpose, in this sense, becomes more than a goal. It becomes a reflection of our wholeness, guiding us to find meaning in all areas of life. Living with purpose isn't about reaching a perfect state of being or following a predefined path. It's a dynamic process shaped by the choices we make, the lessons we learn, and the challenges we face. For Jung, purpose isn't something we discover in a single moment of clarity. It's something we cultivate through action and reflection. Each experience adds a layer to our understanding of who we are, gradually revealing what truly matters. This idea can feel freeing, especially if you've ever felt pressured to have everything figured out. Purpose doesn't have to be a grand or static ideal. It evolves as we grow. The more we explore and integrate the shadow, the more authentic our sense of purpose becomes. By embracing this process, we give ourselves permission to be imperfect, to make mistakes, and to change direction when needed. This flexibility is what allows purpose to feel alive and relevant at every stage of our lives. The shadow plays a central role in this ongoing evolution. Within it are not only our fears and insecurities, but also our untapped potential and hidden strengths. Consider the parts of yourself you've suppressed over the years. Perhaps it's a creative passion you abandoned, a skill you never explored, or a trait you were taught to downplay. These forgotten aspects hold the key to unlocking a richer sense of purpose. By reclaiming them, we align more closely with who we are at our core. This process requires both courage and action. It's not enough to simply recognize the shadow. We must engage with it. Think of it as walking into a dimly lit room. At first, the shadows may seem intimidating, but as your eyes adjust, you begin to see details you hadn't noticed before. You realize that the room isn't a place to fear, but one to explore. In the same way, facing the shadow reveals insights that can guide us toward a more meaningful life. As we integrate the shadow, our understanding of purpose shifts. It stops being about external validation and becomes a deeply personal journey. When we accept all parts of ourselves, the light and the dark, we start to see that our purpose isn't limited to achieving specific goals. Instead, it's about living in alignment with our values and creating a life that feels whole. This kind of purpose isn't something that fades. It grows stronger with every step we take toward self-awareness. Imagine purpose as a tree growing through the seasons. It's shaped by the winds and storms it endures, as well as the sunlight and rain that nourish it. Every experience, both joyful and challenging, contributes to its growth. Similarly, the highs and lows of our lives add depth and resilience to our sense of purpose. By embracing the full spectrum of our experiences, we allow our purpose to take root in something real and enduring, a reflection of who we truly are. True purpose often emerges not in moments of ease, but in how we navigate life's challenges. Every obstacle we face carries the potential to teach us something valuable about ourselves. These difficulties, though painful, serve as mirrors, reflecting parts of our inner world we might otherwise overlook. Jung emphasized that purpose isn't defined by avoiding struggles, but by embracing them as integral to our growth. It's through these contrasts, success and failure, joy and sorrow, that the depth of our purpose takes shape. Think of adversity as a storm that strengthens the roots of a tree. The wind, though harsh, forces the tree to grow deeper roots, anchoring it more securely into the earth. In the same way, the challenges we face strengthen our character and deepen our connection to what truly matters. They push us to reassess our priorities and realign with our values, allowing us to build a sense of purpose that feels grounded and authentic. Accepting challenges doesn't mean settling for less or resigning ourselves to difficulty. Instead, it's about recognizing struggle as part of the process, a necessary step in discovering and living with purpose. Each setback is an opportunity to reflect, to ask ourselves what we can learn, and to grow stronger as a result. These moments, while difficult, are often the turning points that guide us closer to our truth. This perspective also helps us reframe our understanding of success. In a world that often glorifies perfection, it's easy to feel like our flaws or failures diminish our worth. But Jung's teachings remind us that our imperfections are not barriers to purpose. They're pathways. Each mistake, each moment of doubt, contributes to the mosaic of our lives, adding depth and dimension to our journey. Purpose, then, becomes not about erasing our struggles, but about embracing them as essential parts of who we are. Integrating these lessons into our lives requires vulnerability and courage. To live with purpose, we must confront not only external challenges, but also the inner fears and insecurities that hold us back. This is where the shadow plays a vital role. By bringing our hidden struggles into the light, we gain a clearer understanding of ourselves and the choices that shape our lives. The very aspects we once avoided become sources of strength, guiding us toward a more authentic existence. Ultimately, living with purpose means finding meaning not only in moments of triumph, but also in the quiet resilience we develop through adversity. It's about understanding that every experience, good or bad, contributes to the unfolding of our story. By embracing the full spectrum of life, we discover that purpose isn't something we chase. It's something we create, one choice at a time. And in this creation, we find a life that feels whole, genuine, and uniquely ours. Living a purposeful life also means accepting that our sense of meaning is shaped as much by our strengths as it is by our limitations. Jung's teachings remind us that purpose isn't forged solely in our accomplishments or talents. It's also born from the challenges we face and the parts of ourselves we often ignore. These hidden aspects, housed within the shadow, hold valuable insights that can transform the way we understand ourselves and the path we choose to walk. Confronting the shadow is like diving into the depths of our own psyche. It's a journey into the unseen, where we encounter both our fears and our potential. For example, the fear of failure may seem like a weakness at first glance, but when examined, it reveals a deep desire for growth and self-improvement. By acknowledging these fears and understanding their origins, we begin to see them not as barriers, but as guides, pointing us toward the areas of life where we can grow the most. This process of integration doesn't mean overcoming every flaw or eradicating fear. Rather, it's about learning to live with them. True purpose emerges not from perfection, but from authenticity. When we embrace the entirety of who we are, the light and the dark, we stop striving for an ideal and start living in alignment with our truth. This shift allows us to view our imperfections not as shortcomings, but as essential parts of our humanity. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, unexplored forest. The path ahead is unclear, and the shadows between the trees are daunting. Yet, it's in stepping forward, one uncertain step at a time, that we begin to uncover its beauty. The same is true of our inner world. The parts of ourselves we've avoided are often the most fertile ground for growth. By daring to explore them, we gain the clarity and confidence needed to navigate life with purpose. This journey inward also deepens our connection to others. When we confront our own vulnerabilities, we become more compassionate toward the struggles of those around us. We see that just as we carry our own shadows, so does everyone else. This shared humanity fosters deeper relationships and a sense of purpose that extends beyond ourselves, reminding us that we're all connected in this journey of self-discovery. Ultimately, living with purpose means creating a life that reflects who we truly are. It's not about following a perfect script or meeting external expectations. It's about embracing the messiness of being human. Each step we take toward understanding ourselves brings us closer to a life that feels meaningful and whole. And in that wholeness, we find the courage to live authentically, knowing that our purpose is as unique and dynamic as we are. Purpose often reveals itself not as a fixed destination, but as a process of continual exploration. Jung believed that life's meaning isn't something we discover once and for all. It's built piece by piece through our actions, reflections, and experiences. Each decision we make, each challenge we face, adds a new layer to our understanding of who we are. Purpose, then, becomes less about achieving an ultimate goal and more about the ongoing journey of self-discovery and alignment. This perspective can be liberating, especially for those who feel pressured to have everything figured out. Instead of chasing a singular, elusive ideal, we're invited to view purpose as a dynamic force, one that evolves alongside us. Each moment of uncertainty or change becomes an opportunity to refine our values and realign with what truly matters. By embracing this fluidity, we allow purpose to grow and shift, reflecting the complexity of our ever-changing selves. At the heart of this journey lies the shadow, the parts of ourselves we avoid. Our fears, doubts, and repressed desires often hold the greatest potential for transformation. Imagine purpose as a light in a dark room. To fully illuminate the space, we must be willing to navigate the shadows, uncovering what's hidden and integrating it into the whole. This act of courage not only deepens our self-awareness, but also brings a richer, more nuanced sense of meaning to our lives. Engaging with the shadow requires a willingness to face discomfort. It's not easy to confront the traits or experiences we've suppressed, but it's in this confrontation that we find clarity. Consider the hidden talents or passions you may have dismissed as unimportant or unrealistic. By revisiting these forgotten parts of yourself, you may discover new directions that feel more aligned with your authentic self. The shadow, far from being a source of fear, becomes a wellspring of creativity and insight. This journey inward also requires action. Understanding the shadow intellectually is one thing, but putting that understanding into practice is where real growth happens. Purpose isn't found in passive reflection alone. It's discovered through the choices we make and the risks we take. Each step forward, no matter how small, helps us bridge the gap between who we are and who we aspire to be. By engaging with life fully, we allow purpose to take shape through lived experience. Ultimately, the search for purpose is about integrating all parts of ourselves into a cohesive whole. It's about embracing the contradictions and complexities that make us human and finding meaning within them. Jung reminds us that this process is never complete. It's a continuous unfolding that requires patience, courage, and self-compassion. But with each step, we move closer to a life that feels authentic, resilient, and deeply fulfilling. A life that reflects not just what we do, but who we are. Purpose is not something handed to us. It's something we actively create by engaging with life. Jung's teachings highlight the importance of action in this process. It's not enough to simply think about what drives us. We must translate those thoughts into choices and experiences. Purpose emerges not from passive contemplation, but from the courage to live, to take risks, and to embrace both successes and failures as integral parts of the journey. Imagine discovering your purpose as stepping into a new room. At first, you might only see fragments, a glimpse of potential, a feeling of excitement or fear. But as you begin to explore, moving furniture and clearing away clutter, the space becomes more defined, more meaningful. In the same way, purpose reveals itself through action. It's in the doing that we clarify our values, refine our goals, and uncover what truly resonates with us. This process isn't linear. Along the way, we encounter moments of doubt and setbacks that challenge our resolve. But these difficulties are essential. They test our commitment and deepen our understanding of what matters. Each time we face a challenge, we're given an opportunity to grow, to let go of what no longer serves us, and embrace what aligns with our evolving sense of self. These moments, while uncomfortable, add texture and depth to our lives, making our purpose more authentic. The shadow plays a crucial role here. The fears and insecurities we avoid often surface when we step outside our comfort zones. These moments can feel overwhelming, but they're also opportunities for profound growth. By confronting the shadow, acknowledging the parts of ourselves we've hidden, we gain the clarity and strength needed to move forward. The shadow, rather than holding us back, becomes a guide, showing us where we need to grow and evolve. This journey toward purpose also requires us to let go of perfectionism. In a culture that prizes flawless success, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that purpose must be free of flaws or failures. But true purpose is messy. It's built from the highs and lows of real life. Each misstep teaches us something valuable, shaping the path we walk and enriching the story we tell about who we are. It's in embracing imperfection that we find the freedom to live authentically. Ultimately, living with purpose means being fully present in the process of becoming. It's not about reaching a final destination, but about engaging with life in a way that feels meaningful and true. Each decision, each action, becomes a thread in the tapestry of our purpose, and as we weave together the light and the shadow, the successes and the struggles, we create a life that reflects our deepest truths, a life that is both imperfect and whole. Purpose is often mistaken for something grand and unattainable, a singular moment of clarity or a monumental achievement, but Jung reminds us that purpose is found in the small, consistent actions we take every day. It's woven into the fabric of how we live, how we show up for ourselves and others, and how we respond to the challenges and opportunities life presents. By shifting our focus from an abstract ideal to the tangible realities of daily life, purpose becomes something we can actively create and experience. This perspective helps us see that purpose isn't a fixed point we arrive at, but a dynamic process that evolves over time. Every step we take, every decision we make, adds depth to our understanding of what truly matters. Even moments of uncertainty and struggle contribute to this unfolding, teaching us resilience and helping us clarify our values. It's in this constant movement, this practice of living with intention, that purpose reveals itself. At the heart of this process lies authenticity. To live a purposeful life, we must align our actions with our inner truth. This means letting go of the masks we wear to please others and embracing the parts of ourselves we've been taught to hide. Jung's concept of the shadow invites us to explore these hidden aspects, not as flaws to fix, but as integral parts of who we are. By integrating the shadow, we create a sense of wholeness that grounds our sense of purpose in authenticity. Authenticity doesn't mean living without fear or doubt. It means accepting these feelings as natural parts of the human experience and choosing to move forward anyway. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to learn, we create space for growth. This openness is what allows purpose to emerge, not as something imposed from the outside, but as a reflection of our deepest values and desires. Consider the analogy of a river carving its path through a landscape. The river doesn't flow in a straight line. It bends and twists, adapting to the terrain it encounters. In the same way, our sense of purpose is shaped by the experiences and challenges we face. The obstacles we encounter don't block our path. They help define it, giving it character and direction. By embracing this fluidity, we allow purpose to evolve with us, reflecting the complexity and beauty of our lives. Ultimately, living with purpose means being willing to explore the unknown parts of ourselves and to embrace the messiness of life. It's about recognizing that our struggles, just as much as our strengths, are part of what makes us whole. Each day offers a new opportunity to align with our values, to take meaningful action, and to deepen our understanding of who we are. And in this ongoing process, we discover that purpose isn't something we find, it's something we create, one moment at a time. Who looks outside, dreams, who looks inside, awakens. This famous quote by Jung captures the essence of the journey toward purpose. It's a reminder that the answers we seek aren't found in the external world, but within ourselves. Yet, looking inward requires courage. It means confronting the parts of ourselves we've ignored, understanding our deepest fears and desires, and embracing the complexities that make us human. This introspection is where purpose begins to take root. Practices like journaling and meditation can be invaluable tools in this process. Journaling allows us to put our thoughts and feelings into words, creating a space to explore what might otherwise remain unconscious. Through writing, we can uncover patterns, acknowledge our doubts, and give voice to the parts of ourselves we've silenced. Similarly, meditation invites us to observe our inner world without judgment, helping us see beyond the noise of daily life to the truths that lie beneath. These practices don't provide instant clarity or easy solutions, but they offer something even more valuable: the opportunity to connect with ourselves on a deeper level. By dedicating time to reflection, we begin to understand how our inner world shapes our outer experience. This awareness allows us to make choices that align with our values and to live in a way that feels authentic and meaningful. Recognizing and integrating the shadow is an essential part of this process. The shadow represents the parts of ourselves we've suppressed, but it also holds immense potential. When we bring these hidden aspects into the light, they become sources of strength and creativity. Instead of seeing our imperfections as obstacles, we start to view them as integral parts of our story, pieces that add depth and authenticity to our purpose. Living with purpose doesn't mean striving for perfection. It means embracing the fullness of who we are. It's about finding balance, honoring both our strengths and our vulnerabilities, our aspirations and our fears. This balance allows us to move through life with a sense of integrity, knowing that we're not trying to be something we're not. Instead, we're showing up as our whole selves, flaws and all, and finding meaning in that wholeness. In the end, purpose isn't about achieving a single ultimate goal. It's about living in alignment with our values and creating a life that feels true to who we are. Each step we take, each choice we make, brings us closer to this sense of alignment. And as we continue to explore, to grow, and to embrace the journey, we find that purpose isn't something we discover once. It's something we cultivate every day. Purpose, at its core, is deeply personal. It's not something we inherit or find neatly packaged. It's something we actively shape through our experiences, reflections, and actions. Carl Jung's work on the shadow underscores this truth by reminding us that much of what defines our purpose is hidden in the aspects of ourselves we tend to overlook. These hidden parts aren't flaws to be erased, but elements to be integrated into a richer, more authentic understanding of who we are. Within each of us lies untapped potential, talents and strengths we've repressed because they didn't fit into the expectations of others or even our own self-image. These strengths are often concealed in the shadow, waiting to be rediscovered. Imagine someone who's always dismissed their creativity as impractical. By reconnecting with this suppressed passion, they might uncover a source of fulfillment they never thought possible. The shadow holds these hidden keys to purpose, urging us to explore what we've left behind. This journey of rediscovery requires us to confront not only our hidden talents, but also our fears and vulnerabilities. It's a process of peeling back the layers, understanding why certain parts of ourselves were buried, and making the conscious choice to bring them forward. This act of courage transforms the way we see ourselves and the world, allowing us to live with greater authenticity and purpose. It's not about reinventing who we are. It's about reclaiming the parts of ourselves we've lost along the way. As we begin to express these hidden parts through meaningful actions, purpose becomes something tangible. It's no longer an abstract idea, but a lived reality. Each choice we make to honor our values, each step we take toward alignment, adds depth to our lives. These actions don't have to be monumental. Even small, intentional changes can create ripples that lead to a profound sense of fulfillment. Purpose isn't measured by size. It's measured by how genuinely it reflects who we are. Jung also reminds us that purpose is not static. It evolves as we grow, shaped by our experiences, relationships, and the challenges we face. Just as a river carves its path over time, our purpose shifts and adapts, reflecting the person we are becoming. This dynamic nature of purpose allows us to continually redefine what matters, keeping our lives vibrant and aligned with our ever-changing selves. Ultimately, purpose isn't about perfection or reaching a final destination. It's about engaging with life fully, embracing its messiness, and finding meaning in both the highs and lows. It's a commitment to living authentically, to honoring our values, and to integrating all parts of ourselves into the story we create. In this way, purpose becomes not just something we seek, but something we embody, a reflection of our truest selves and the life we choose to live.